Okay, so we'll start. Hey everyone, my name is Rob McDonald. I'm BBB's business engagement partner, and it's hard to believe this is the fourth of our four-part series that we started back in September. I did the first one about online reputation. We then had Viola from Effortless Marketing that talked about keywords, and Dave from In-Front Marketing back in January. And now we have Melanie from Bell Media. And Melanie, I've worked with her for about 2-3 years now. We worked on a lot of campaigns together. She has taught me so much, just like Dave and Viola. And I'm really excited for you guys to take part in this Q&A. I know I always have a lot of questions for them, and they're right there answering them for me. So we'll just use this time. Actually, Lewis, if you can change the slide for me. Just before we get started, just kind of wanted to do a land acknowledgement. In spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play in the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina and Nakota Nations, the Métis Nations, and all the people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. So now I just want to take a minute or two just to introduce Dave, Melanie, and Viola. Dave, if you can, did you want to go first?
Yep, for sure. My name is Dave Taylor. I'm one of the founders of In-Front Marketing. We are a full-service advertising agency working here in Calgary for just over 9 years. We do everything from website design, SEO, Google Ads, social media content creation and advertising, as well as sort of the full marketing strategy, just helping businesses identify gaps in their marketing and looking at how different platforms can help them gain visibility and market share. So I've personally been in marketing for about 15 years. And been fortunate to work with businesses in all different types of industries, whether it's retail, e-commerce, B2B, industrial clients, service providers. There's not much that we haven't gotten into, and I'm always happy to be a resource for people in our community.
Perfect, thank you, Dave. Melanie?
Sure. Hi, I'm Melanie Matushak. I work for Bell Media. I'm an account executive. And I've been in the media business for about 30 years now. I started as Melanie in the Light 96 van about town in the 90s. That was my 5 minutes of fame. And I've been a creative writer, worked my way through promotions into sales. And I did have my own business, which was a sports marketing company. And I decided having my own business was a little bit unmanageable. So I have a high respect and regard for business owners. And then I came back I've worked for Rogers, Chorus, and Bell. I'm a radio person through and through. I love hanging out around bonfires with AM transistors, picking up bounces from Boston, and getting really creative. I believe you can do a lot with a little bit of money. And for me, I really care about my clients' success. So that's me. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And Viola?
Hi, I'm Viola Hutchinson, and I'm the founder of Effortless Marketing. Prior to owning my business, I was a systems analyst at Shell, so that kind of gave me a base for understanding a little bit more of a technical side of digital marketing. We are a digital marketing agency here in Calgary, have been in business for 15 years. And we serve mainly local businesses in the home improvement industry and in the wellness industry. We have other clients too, but these are the two main industries that we so happen to serve more of those. And our focus, so we are a full range, just like Dave's business. We're a digital marketing agency. But our focus is a lot on local marketing, local SEO, and helping the local small business owners. And just one more thing, my accent, because if you're wondering, is Hungarian. And I was born and raised in Transylvania. So no worries. We're not going to be past 12 o'clock midnight here, so nobody has any worries.
Thank you, Viola. And Viola actually does a lot of presentations at her office. She will book one of our meeting rooms and do presentations for small businesses. And that's how I met Viola, is by her doing that. And when things reopen in her office again, our meeting rooms are free for our accredited businesses. So if any of you are here that are potentially interested in booking a boardroom or a meeting room, once things open up in our office again, you can definitely do that for free. Just connect with us. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm just actually parking.
You're just parking? All right. So I will just keep on going then. And then if you're able just to keep on going, cool. If not a problem.
Yeah, I'll speak to you.
Sure. So the first question is for all of you. And Melanie, I'll let you go first. Why is it important to do marketing?
How many people are in our call today, Rob?
18 at the moment.
Okay. Well, obviously doing marketing your business is important because you want to make money, but it all starts from a plan. And that was going to be really a big focus of what I keep defaulting to in my thoughts about marketing is the plan and who your demographic is and how you're different than your competitor. So the importance of marketing is really to speak loud and proud about your unique selling proposition, which will give you the lion's share of that business in that category.
Perfect. Viola?
I like to explain the need for marketing to clients or prospects, that you could be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows about you, then how are you going to get clients?
Very true. And Dave, if you can.
Tell me the question one more time.
Why is it important to do marketing?
Yeah, I think for me, businesses want to be found. Businesses don't want to have to go out and always be networking, always be finding ways to get themselves in the community. You want to be in front of a person when they're at home and doing research and thinking about a product or thinking about a service. And without a good marketing strategy, there's just no way that business comes in without you, the business owner, going out and finding it. So that strategy is ultimately the most important part of finding a way to just get in front of people when they're looking for something.
Awesome. All great answers. Thank you. Second question. How much of your revenue should you invest towards your marketing budget? Is there even a right answer to that?
Well, I can take a run at this, but they say between 2 and 5% of your annual revenue. But really, it's about return on investment. I mean, if there's an opportunity and a demand, if it's snowing and you sell winter tires, maybe that, you've got to take that into consideration too. So.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Viola?
Yeah, I don't know what the magic number is. I don't know. I would 3%, whatever it is. But as Melanie said, is what's your return on investment? But also sometimes we have to go out on a limb and maybe push that budget a bit to increase it and assess the opportunity. And we are business people, entrepreneurs, so take the leap. That's my advice.
And Dave?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say it's upwards of 10% of sales. But I also think that there's a difference between marketing a business that's new and marketing a business that's established. And also, we're going to have to look at how competitive the category is, look at what other people are spending, and whether you're up against national organizations or local businesses. The good thing about marketing, specifically when it comes to digital, is you have clear eyesight on what your return on investment is, but often you have pretty clear eyesight for things like your total market share or market visibility in platforms like Google, which will allow you to effectively understand how your budget is performing in specific keywords and help you make some decisions. So I think, just keeping an eyesight on not only what that money is doing for you for financial return, but also total share of voice in the market will allow you to make some of those decisions.
Perfect. It's definitely a hard question. It's a hard answer. I get that a lot from especially a lot of our new accredited businesses that have been open just for 6 months or a year, and they just don't know. And there's not one real right answer, but I really do believe that it's an investment that you definitely need to make if you're looking to grow your business, for sure, and to have the legitimacy and the visibility and the credibility and all that. You definitely have to do it. Okay, next question. What are the most cost-effective market mediums for small businesses? And this is for all three of you. Yep. Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay. Well, I'm a radio lady. In fact, that's my Google handle is radio lady. So and we're having great success right now with Virgin Radio, especially Danae. And I don't want to toot the Virgin Radio horn this morning, but I represent Virgin and CJ92. But Danae, Tyler, and Fuzzy, they're really doing a great job. I have a client who's a mechanic, small little mechanic shop. Him and his brother opened up a shop about 2 years ago, and radio has been the backbone of their business. 15-second commercials, kind of a drama. Dad, I can't start my car. Oh, you should take it to piano. And it's so traditional and pure, and it's just so nice to listen to it. And he's having so much success. He's getting women in my age group going in there, and he's spending 70 grand a year with me now. So I always think about him. I've had one time I did a remote broadcast for La Vie en Rose, which is a lingerie store, and they were doing a bra donation fundraiser for breast cancer. And I was like, remotes are a little nerve-wracking because if people don't show up, it's kind of it shows it wasn't successful. But there was cars pulling up, not just one. There was 40 cars that pulled up with women coming out, putting bras in this box. And I was in awe of how successful and powerful Virgin Radio can be when you're targeting a woman or a family. So I really believe in radio. It's really cost effective. You get this intimate relationship with on-air personalities. There are real people that live in Calgary. And I think radio is always going to be around. And I'm ready to buy up all the AMs in this country too. But I'm a real believer. So.
Perfect. Dave? Oh, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Had to happen at least once today. I think this comes down to industry, right? Like it's going to be different regardless of what business you're in. It's going to be, different industries are going to have different opportunities. I think one thing that you need to think about, is all advertising drives search in some way, shape, or form. So we need to look at building out the foundation of your business and ensuring that when people do look for something, that they're not just finding your competition, that they are finding you. So ensuring that you have a good, strong website, and ensuring that you have a strategy for Google allows you to buy different mediums and traditional forms of advertising. So, I don't know if there is truly, a more cost-effective medium than others. They're all going to have different variable costs based on industry and based on competition. I think you got to try to look at, how you can understand what those costs are going to be and what you're up against, just like everything else. But you're not going to have success right away in any platform, whether it's digital or traditional. Everything takes time. Branding is important. Building relationships with your customers is important. Being visible is important, and it's like you're building a brick and mortar. People think that building a website is marketing, but it's not. It's no different than adding a cash register to your business. So once you have that foundation built, it allows you to look at other mediums and trial and error, test out different things, and ensure that you're committing 3 months, 6 months, a year to trying something new, so that you're not just wasting money, because the first 30 days is going to feel like you've spent money that didn't do anything for you, because you don't know what that brand visibility is doing. And people need to do research, and they need to understand the messaging, and then they need to become in some sort of a buying cycle. So it's important to make commitments and really give yourself an opportunity to see the value of any platform, which will again help you not just find the most cost effective, but make the platforms that you're buying on become more cost effective.
Perfect. Thank you. Viola?
I can only speak from experience and 15 years. The businesses who have a solid, well-made website and they are active on it, meaning they just didn't just build it and left it. So we're doing something with it and paying attention. And so a solid foundation like the website is necessary. And then you find, various ways, depending on the industry, on how you're going to drive traffic to that website. That's my experience, and it's a constant thing. So it's not just that you build a website and you put maybe a little bit of money, or you just do one little thing. It's a continuous thing. And the reason I say that this is my experience, because that's like we have clients now who have been with us, monthly clients for over 10 years. So that's a continuity that is good on both sides. It's a win-win situation. Now, the other thing that I really want to mention, and Rob, you probably heard me talking about this when at my presentations, is email marketing. That's another stable one, and people don't really think about it that much. Everybody is so hot on social media, and I'm not saying it's not working, social media, but it's a lot more work for a lot less return, from my experience. And email marketing is something easy and constant, that it's easy to set up. And one of our clients, as an example, when they were really, really adverse to email marketing, didn't want to do it, didn't want to bother, good old Canadians, we don't want to bother people. So they didn't want to get into that. But when COVID hit, their doors were shut. So all of a sudden, nobody coming through, they didn't know what to do. They had a good database. So I said, okay, let's try email marketing. And they were able to actually make thousands of dollars with email marketing during COVID, when their business was shut. So this is a wellness center that we helped. And we got creative, and they had online consultations, and they could sell products, just put them outside the door. So email marketing works even today.
Awesome, thank you. Next question for all three of you as well. What are red flags when looking for marketing agencies? Good question.
Rob, I
And
didn't get
Viola, why
that.
don't you go first? What are red flags when looking
Red
for marketing
flags,
agencies?
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Viola, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so you go ahead, Viola.
Oh, me, sure, red flags. Aggressive behavior, and we see that because we are marketed to by others to. So aggressive behavior, over promising, very quick results, promise of very quick results. I get calls from my clients sometimes saying, oh, such and such, I don't know who, whatever company from wherever, they called me and they said they can do this in, I don't know, in 2 weeks. I'll be on page one for Google for $50. I'm like, what? So watch out for those kind of promises and deals. And oh, the other one that I over and over have to mention is Google will not call you, okay? So some companies will call businesses and say, oh, we are Google or Google partner or something, but we're from Google. Google will not call you, trust me. It's hard to get in touch with them as it is. So those are disingenuous approaches, and be wary of them. I don't know, what else is there? I'm sure there's lots of other stuff.
Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's overpromising. You know, I say this all the time. People ask me, you know, what can I expect? How quickly can I expect a return? And I often say, if someone gives you the answer, they're lying to you. At the end of the day, like, you have to try things out and you have to look at the data to understand how things are working for your business and then make some decisions from there. Because, you know, you'll get calls all day long from different marketing agencies making promises. You'll have low-cost SEO experts, quote unquote experts, who you know, sell you programs. You've been working with people for 6 months, a year. You don't know what they're doing. They don't send reports. You don't see any increases. And then, you know, somebody like us does an audit and you find out that they haven't logged into the website for 9 months. So there's lots of you know, sales tactics. You know, I often say, you know, be wary of the salesperson versus the consultant. You can flush these people out all the time, that they're clearly just in it to sell things. We get a lot of messages, emails, and phone calls, Viola, from Google reps who often try to sell you their recommendations. Their recommendations are sales tactics. So they try to get you to increase the amount of keywords. They try to just do a dump of keywords into your campaigns, and often these dilute your budgets.
Yeah, that's for
And
Google Ads, but
that's
what
correct.
I guess I should have clarified, I was referring to just general marketing. Google Ads, if you have Google Ads running, yes, you will get calls.
Yeah. And we've seen it where we've taken over accounts that have, you know, 2,000 keywords off of a very small budget, and they've just completely diluted the account. They put in things, you know, we look at keywords as informational versus transactional. And your informational or your research-based keywords are ones that do not drive conversions and do not drive sales. And you can see lots of campaigns have been set up with you know, almost question-based keywords. That it's great if you're a large organization who's trying to rank in different ways with more long tail search. But when you're a small business, you need to really hone in on those converting keywords, those sales-based keywords. And when you take those phone calls from Google and you accept their recommendations, they just dump stuff into your campaign that almost never makes sense. So it's really, really easy to spend money in marketing that was never supposed to get you a return, and to work with people who who, you know, aren't necessarily being honest. So, you know, there's also, it's really, really easy to flush these guys out. You get these phone calls that are very clearly call centers, and they're selling you work with this US based agency, but they're very clearly overseas. And you know, it's okay to outsource things if it's vetted properly, but there's a lot of these organizations that, like I said, it's not hard to tell when you get a phone call from somebody that's just selling you, that has no clue about what they're selling or the value of it. And you need to have people with experience. You know, there's lots of people in sales jobs that are consultants that aren't salespeople, and they, you know, the approach is different, and you can feel it when you talk to them. And so it's easy to get taken for a ride, to get sold, you know, things that like I said, we're never really supposed to drive a return. So often agencies will do free consultations, they'll do audits, they'll give you they'll do research, they'll build strategy, they'll do things to earn your business that give you value. And when they're just making promises and trying to get a credit card over the phone, you know, you're in a situation that isn't necessarily built to get you something back from that relationship. So
I like what you said there, that a lot of agencies do stuff for free, you know, to earn that trust and do audits and stuff. That is a differentiation for sure, than the quick rather than the quick sale and get your credit card out at whatever discounted price they try to sell you. Yeah.
Perfect. And one of my recommendations, of course, would be, if you're looking for a company, definitely check bbb.org to see if they're an accredited business, right? So definitely that's a good step. And both Dave and Viola are BBB accredited businesses as well. And Dave, I think you've been accredited for 6 years now. I was just
time
looking at
goes
it the
by
other day.
fast. We've outgrown our office now, you know, 5 years, and we'll be looking at the next step. So, you know, in almost 10 years in business, we've had, you know, the spare bedroom, we've had the 300 square foot office in a co-working space. We've got 2,000 square feet now, and looking at what's next. So, you know, you don't have to be the biggest or the most expensive agency to be established. So it's also looking at the history of your partnership and who's looking to you know, help your business, so to say.
Perfect. And next question, this is great for all of you, and definitely for small businesses. I get this question a lot, or they have no idea what the difference is. What is the difference between a branding campaign and a call to action campaign? Melanie, I'll let you start with that.
Sure. Well, a branding campaign is really just about the emotion and the feeling around your business, more of a name awareness, and will really broadcast or set you apart from your competition. What's your unique selling proposition or USP? I always think that's really important to nail that down. And it can't be price point, it can't be service, you know, for all your gardening needs. It has to be because we manufacture them, you know, in a hobbit house in a forest, or whatever what makes you unique. And we all, if you're going to be successful, you have to be able to tell or define your unique selling proposition. So in your branding campaign, that's what you want to get out there. Now, whether you use a really creative approach or to tell your story, tell your history, however you want to brand that. But with the call to action, it's all about just, you know, it's always a timeline, immediacy, price point, and moving units. It's about instant results. Now there's less margin, less future growth opportunity, and hard and fast. I believe in branding. I think this is important, or more important really than anything else. And that's one of the strengths that I've done with my clients is branding. It's all about the audio logo, the stinger, the little sing-song that comes to your mind when you're laying in bed at night, and people will think of you. Lots of sports marketing, that type of thing is good for branding.
Perfect. Viola or Dave?
All right, sure. Branding, in my opinion, is something that it's a continuous, it's a long term for sure. You have to do it continuously. It's not like, oh, I did my branding. No, you continuously doing it. And it's something that hopefully whoever hears your brand name, I mean, we're a small business, but still it's a small community, and the name does spread around a bit. Hopefully the people associate your brand with what you want them to associate it with. So meaning good service or heart-centered service, or crappy service. You don't want that, right? So branding is something that you continuously should be doing. Call to action, I would think it's more like I don't know. It's, as Melanie said, immediate action. You have a sale, you have a campaign that you set up to achieve certain results and get rid of some product or something like that. Yeah.
Perfect. Dave?
Yeah, I play this game essentially with every client that's called intention versus awareness, and it's really about trying to understand the customer intent. If there's an intent to buy a product, then there's platforms that will allow you to build campaigns that are focused on conversions, that are focused on sales. If there isn't an intent, you have a new product, you have a new software, you have something that people don't necessarily buy every day, you need to create awareness. You need to create that intention. So you need to do branding, you need to bring visibility to new products. Awareness is much more expensive than intention. So, we need to, again, understand the long term. What are we trying to achieve? How are we trying to get people to relate to our products? Is my awareness going to create intention for people to buy from other people? And then how do I ensure that I'm also the person that maintains that sale? So I think that you just have to look at it from the customer. How are customers looking for things? How are they relating with other businesses? How are there marketing messages, radio, TV, billboards that they're seeing, that they're hearing from other businesses that are generating awareness? You as a business can also capture awareness that other businesses are creating just by simply, following the intention of a customer to purchase something. So there's lots of industries where, you've done something new and there really isn't customers that are actively looking to buy that product, but once they understand it's available, then they follow through and they purchase. So I think that, there's a situation where you have to understand how to create awareness, and then also how to follow that up with a good quality brand and ensure that people are relating to you. But the other side of it is, there's people actively looking to buy things every day, and they have an intention to buy something, and brand is less important. It's about how easy is it to engage with your business, understand the products that you're selling, and then find ways to build trust through the journey to a purchase. So then you follow it through with, as Viola said, things like email marketing, additional touch points to create your brand. So it's not that the brand doesn't get forgotten. It's just a matter of understanding the journey of the customer. At what point do they need to connect to the brand? And are you investing into branding to create awareness, or are you investing into intention to create your brand? That's how I would look at it.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question this is for Melanie. What are the advantages of traditional media for advertising, and how can they work with digital advertising?
Sure. Well, currently at Bell Media, we've had radio for years, and we purchased CTV. So we have TV properties all over Canada, which I guess would fall under we like to call it proven media. But I believe it's tried and true. And with TV, it's definitely from your cable sort of perspective, it's definitely a mature audience, 40 plus. I'm having tremendous success. I know with seniors, it's a fantastic way to talk to them, and they have huge disposable income. So it's a great demographic and a great tool to use to target anybody over 40, 45. Now we are tuning on digital or Bell Media Mobile on your phone. I mean, we're doing what's called Bell Media Mobile, where we serve ads to phones depending on the geolocation. And this has proven to be very successful. We have partnerships with 50,000 different apps. When you open the app, you'll get an ad served to you on your mobile device before you watch the CTV news clip on demand. So we had Honda once come to us and say, yeah, I want to target all the people that were in the Toyota booth 2 years ago at the new car show, because we can go back up to 2 years. So I think that campaign was about 10 grand, and it went over four weeks. And we could get within 2 feet of that booth, and we did target them with ads. So I have many examples like that. I have financial institutions that this is the backbone of their advertising now. It's geolocation. It's based on, did they go to the gym? Did they go to the liquor store? On what they're doing. Now, I know it seems a little intrusive, but it's until things change within the privacy, federally regulated realm. This is reality from an advertiser perspective, and if it's done properly and respectfully, is actually welcomed. I know we were targeting people who work up north in Fort McMurray. It was the Alberta Counseling Center. They wanted to talk to them about depression. So we could tell who was going up north for 2 weeks and then coming back down the corridor a week later. And we served ads that were just simple, flat digital ads that's talking in real skilled tradesman language, like, do you feel like you need to take off your boots? And the click-through rate was like 5%. So it was hugely successful. And they also got reporting, and they really appreciated that within the boardroom later on, because they can show the results, right? And it does work very well with our other traditional medias. Just also radio is being sort of through iHeart, the app iHeartRadio. We're serving 200,000 podcasts, all of our Canadian radio stations through that app. And over the last few months, I've been selling a lot of digital ad insertion into those audio versions of entertainment. So that's also, it's very cost effective. It still feels a little different to most of my customers than traditional radio. But the point being is, this is radio, and this will be the future of, we're going to end up having TV and radio again, but just on this. It'll be, and we can report more. And I think people like to see the reporting, the return on the investment. So traditional media meets, technology. And I think at the end of the day, we're all going to be back. We'll be sitting here, and maybe not me, but somebody else in 20 years talking about it. So.
Perfect. Thank you. For Dave and Viola, why is it important for small businesses to brand themselves on Google, BBB.org, and other digital platforms?
I can start. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to understanding the volume. So, it is almost every business is going to have customers who are actively doing research and actively comparing businesses against each other. And again, if you're not part of that conversation, then you're letting your competitors win the race. So, and I do say almost. There are businesses where search is not relevant, but that is less likely than the other situation. There's lots of ways to understand the volume of search for specific keywords before you invest. So it's not a should I be there? It's a what's the visibility look like? am I up against, again, large competition who are eating my lunch, and are they doing that because there's customers there? I mean, they're not doing it because there's not customers there, right? So we need to understand, again, what our competitors are doing, and we need to understand the opportunity within those platforms before we make any decisions. But those reports can be found fairly easy to understand, again, whether or not there's a volume of customers in any of those platforms, and what's it going to take to be visible.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, where do we go really when we're looking for, I don't know, a dentist, or we go to Google. So most of us, okay. So if people who search for your service or your product are on Google, then your business should be optimized for Google. And once they find you, now to talk about BBB a little bit, it does help to have a BBB badge or affiliation. It does. It just adds to that trust factor. So I know I got business because I have that little trust factor there. So specifically, because we have that on the website. Just a little plug-in for you, Rob, there. Just
Perfect. Love
but
it.
it is true. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't have mentioned it. So yeah.
Perfect. And I just kind of like to add, if one of our accredited businesses on here is not taking part of our featured listings program, that's where you're going to be on page 1. It's just like on everyone on Google wants to be on page 1, right? Same on BBB. People don't want to go to page 2. So if you're interested on having a spot on page 1 through our featured listings program, connect with me and I can overview everything with you. The next question, I'm just going to kind of mention it, but it's not really relevant. This was, how do I get billboards and what is the cost? That was actually one of the emails that was sent during the registration. That can really range in cost. I've seen as low as $600 for like a bus ad kind of thing and up. It could go thousands and thousands of dollars, but I will connect with that person.
I can answer this because we buy them.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, billboard campaigns vary based on, are you looking for static? Are you looking for digital billboards? Are you looking for specific locations? How competitive is that location? Are you trying to get on Highway 1 out to Canmore, where those are long-term contracts and you're just hoping one opens up? There's lots of different opportunities. Digital billboards allow you to target specific audience interests as opposed to just locations with certain providers. So if you have a business that is really audience focused, you could look at pairing it to your digital campaigns and the audiences that you're created. Digital billboards also connect to devices as they drive past them. So this happens for 2 reasons. One of which is all the cars that are sitting at a red light with a billboard there. The billboard will actually display an ad within its network that is relevant to the devices that are in that neighborhood or at that red light, because it's pulling data from the apps you have on your phone that are releasing information about your device and your interests. I also tell a story all the time about how you can connect your billboard campaigns to other digital campaigns and to your remarketing, meaning people have visited your website and they've left. We bought, a bottle of rye for a Christmas gift one year, and I was, doing some online research, and I ended up on the JP Weiser's website, and then I left, and I was driving down the street, and a billboard, what was it? It was JP Weiser's, right? The systems are smart enough to connect to data. And this doesn't just happen on billboards. It happens on transit. You see digital screens. It happens in elevators where you see digital screens. It happens in bathrooms where you see digital screens. They're connecting to devices. It happens with your smart TV. when you're watching you're using a Roku device, or you're watching Amazon Prime. It's going to happen with Netflix when they release their ad platform. It happens with CTV where it's relating to the device that's sitting in front of the TV. And so billboards do vary. The average cost of a billboard campaign for one specific location is $3,000 a month, upwards of $5,000 to $6,000 a month, depending on that location. The average digital billboard campaign is going to be the same, $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and you're going to get multiple locations. You can do it based on impressions. And again, we find that they pair really well to other forms of media, whether it's billboard pairs well to digital, radio pairs well to digital. Yeah. They all begin to complement each other in some way, shape, or form. Unless you're a realtor who's just in the local community who wants that bus bench to say, I'm the mahogany realtor or whatever I am, buying a single location is not always the most best use of funds. It's got to be really specific. Maybe it's really high traffic, the Highway 1, the commuter core in and out of downtown. But again, in understanding your customer's journey, are they commuting to work? And do you want to be a part of that commute? A billboard can pair well to that. And again, just trying to identify, is it a part of the marketing mix and at what point? And then ultimately the budget and what are your expectations? You can't measure billboards. So the only thing that you can measure is lift in your website traffic and analytics. And you can, if you're doing things consistently and then you add in a billboard campaign, you can see whether or not there's a lift, right? And you can pair it, like I said, to some of your other tactics. So they are still useful and pair well to specific campaigns. But yeah, the expectation is $5,000 a month is what you're looking at for a billboard campaign, and then up depending on locations and how much visibility you want.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. In our advertising media kit, we do partner with Pattison, who does provide us assistance with creating billboards, and they also do Calgary Transit and things like that as well. So they definitely have a wide variety of different pricing. So if you do have any questions, definitely connect with me and we can overview with that. Thank you, Dave, for all that information, because it's so true with everything that you said. Holy crap. Sorry, go ahead.
We do have at Bell Media, we sell Astral Outdoor. So we do have that available now, digital billboards and campus bathroom posters, which were great for example, the Harlem Globetrotters or more event student related stuff. And you can do QR codes. That's a little different than your big digital billboard approach, but you can do that for $1,000 a month. Seriously, it's very cost effective and really cool. So anyways, we do offer that too.
Perfect. It's 10 to 9 and there's a few more questions. It's hard to believe it's been an hour already. So we'll get through these as quickly as possible here. This is all for three of you. What are the best ROIs, marketing strategies out there, especially for small business owners on a limited budget?
Again, it's about planning. It's, what are your goals? What are your objectives? What are your challenges? I always like to ask that question. What keeps you awake at night? Because if we can solve that problem through your marketing, then your return on investment, I think, would be considered very high. But if you're looking for something that might just turn around some revenue really quickly, depending on the category of your business, Skype segments on CTV or live on locations, they're between $1,600 and $2,200. They live online afterwards for 1 year. They have meta tagging. There's a backlink to CTV, and we have huge traffic. Seriously, for a small business just that wants a one and done sort of, and also create content, you can't beat that. So that's a good recommendation.
And a lot of our accredited businesses have actually used that live on location and all that as well, right? So they're fantastic.
It's a good starting point for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, just to add to that, so I think it's very important to nail down who you're talking to, and so you know exactly what kind of messages you're saying, what kind of, the campaign, what is it gonna be about. And a lot of times when we try to pry out this information from our clients is, and I get it, they want to reach everybody, but especially when you design a campaign, you really need to know who you're talking to. Otherwise, your results will not be very good. So nailing that down, just wanted to bring that up. Nailing down who you're talking to is very important.
Perfect. Anything to add, Dave?
Yeah, no, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier in terms of ROI per platform, and I think it really comes down to just understanding the best use of each of those platforms and having specific expectations, trial and error, doing things with purpose. They're super variable and they all affect each other. So there's definitely no silver bullet, in terms of what's going to get you the best ROI. It's about maximizing your return in any platform that you're using. So just understanding how to use them, why to use them, and what expectations to have is going to be important, and measuring your ROI so you're not blind. You'd be shocked. I mean, we're a digital agency and we take on so much work from other agencies, and there are no analytics in place. People don't own their data. They have no history on audiences who have engaged with previous campaigns. They have no clue on ROI. And we're talking about other digital agencies and marketing people who don't understand analytics. So if you're not using analytics, it's a free platform. It's really easy to use once you get in and do it a couple of times. Any marketing person who runs any campaign without Google Analytics installed in your site should be walked out the door.
Perfect. And would you agree with this, like, especially for an ROI perspective, but what about an online reputation aspect? So I see a lot of businesses that will actually spend all this money on advertising, but then they have no Facebook, or they don't even have a Google My Business profile, right? Would you recommend that they at least start having all of this at once, or is it something that they can just kind of expand during their advertising campaign?
I'll answer this. So Google My Business, yes. Google My Business affects everything, right? Like, you can't be found on Google without a Google My Business page. Like, and not only that, other people could potentially own your business by creating a Google My Business page and owning your business name. So if you don't have a Google My Business page, super easy to set up. Again, it's a free platform. It allows you to be on a local map. Some businesses don't have an address. So, Google My Business might not be a thing, but getting a PO box, getting a virtual office, doing something to establish a location of some sort so that they can have a Google My Business page. It positively affects your SEO. There's lots of good reasons to do it. It's low maintenance. Make sure you're updating your hours, make sure people know, what your services are that you're offering, and then add some pictures sometimes and make sure that you just show people what's going on in your business. Social media, if you're not keeping up with it, don't do it. If you have a Facebook page that's 2 years old with no content on it, what's the point? People look at you and they go, is this business still exist? Like, what is going on? Why did they do this, right? Or you just end up looking at messages and content that's old. People that do events year over year, ensuring that all that information is up to date, because it's really, really easy to find incorrect dates, incorrect locations based on past events, because they're just not updating the most relevant information on a new event. But the general business owner, Facebook, Instagram, it's all valuable if you keep up with it. But if you're not keeping up with it and you're not, it's time consuming. So if you're not hiring somebody to do it, you're not, engage a summer student, an intern, year over year, like there's lots of things you can do to get help in social, or hire a marketing company to take it over. or find ways to just be visible. It's not always about the algorithm. You got to post 3 to 5 times a week. You got to be super active to get visibility in the platform. But from a true reputation perspective, people do look to see the quality of a business, the quality of work. You can take that content and you can feed it into your website so that it's live, so that you can get updated portfolio images and updated content on your site. Lots of reasons to do it, but if you're not keeping it updated, don't bother. It's too easy for people to get the wrong impression or the wrong information, especially from social. And then even you look at TikTok, for example, we don't know how long TikTok's going to be around. Like I keep telling people, just watch, it's going to get shut down. But that doesn't mean don't be there. If you find a reason to be there, people use TikTok like Google. They search for things, they learn from it. This is your younger generation. This is where they spend their time. They're not just dancing. Like there's more value to it, but it is a very challenging platform to understand how to create content and what to do, why to do it, and whether or not there's going to be long-term value out of it. But if you're not at least having that conversation and how it can affect your business, it's definitely a missed opportunity.
My dog's a TikTok star, so hopefully it stays on, right? Because he has a lot of fans. But I'm glad that you brought that up, though, Dave, because it actually kind of went into one of the questions that was asked in the chat earlier. And it was a marketing person told me that it's nearly a full-time job to keep current with various Google, Facebook, etc. What are your comments? So basically, a lot of what you said was in that question. And would you agree, though, that that's, if you're seriously interested in having that, hiring someone to take care of that for you?
Especially for outreach, right?
Well, watch out. Sorry.
Go ahead. I've spoken enough.
You also have to. You also have to. Look at where your audience is. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Or are they on TikTok? Like we chose our clients absolutely refuse to be on TikTok, and we're happy for that. But it's not really where their audience is, and so look at where your audience is. Find out, and then if you want to be on social media, then just let's say it's on Instagram, then be active on that one, and don't go for vanity measures or vanity results like, oh, I have so many followers. Who are those followers? So there's more to it than just number of followers and number of likes.
Perfect. 2 more questions. And this one is a good one. It will take 6 months to get noticed is not good enough, in my opinion. Your marketing is not good enough. This is a very good statement and question at the same time, because it does take a while for any form of advertising to connect with people, right? And why does it take so long?
Because you're not the only one doing it. Oh. If you find a way to make a platform generate a return in 30 days, you're hired. Like at the end of the day, you're competing against other businesses. Yes, yeah, you can get established on Google tomorrow, but we're talking about page 5. We're talking about page 6. We're talking about running campaigns that aren't optimized for conversion, that are just getting you visibility. So if you want to talk about getting a return, you have to teach Google what's valuable to you. You have to teach Facebook what's valuable to you. You have to collect data on audiences. When you do branding, a big piece of your branding is audience personas, understanding who those people are and what they're doing. And again, there are certain industries where I'm an emergency service. If I'm a plumber, I just need to Google my business page and people are going to call me because they're in an emergency situation. I don't have to do a lot of branding. I don't have to do radio. But if I want to be the guy who gets calls all day long, not just for emergency services, but for all of our services, where you want to pick and choose what jobs are valuable to you, then you need to really invest into a long-term growth campaign. So it's going to take time to do things the right way, for sure.
I guess you guys probably heard this comparison with dating, marketing and dating, the analogy, like you have to build that relationship with your audience, right? And you're not just going on a first date and ask the person to marry you. It's the same thing with offering something. It just, you have to have some background and some trust and authority, so to speak, right?
I've never heard of that, Viola, but it's so true. I like that. It totally makes sense. So that's all the questions that I've had. Lewis, was there any questions that I missed?
No, I believe that should be everything, although there are a few more comments in the chat here.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. We had 18 people that logged in today, so that is fantastic. And if any of you guys have any questions, follow-ups, definitely connect with me. Lewis, are you able to put their contact information up really quickly?
Sure, just 1 second, please.
And while he's doing that, my direct line is 403-531-8792 or robm@calgary.bbb.org. And thank you so much, Dave, Melanie, and Viola. This was fantastic. I even learned a lot. And by all means, if any of you have any questions for them, there's their email addresses, and they're more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you,
Anything
everybody.
else that any of you would like to add before we head out?
There's no number sign after my name in my email. I just noticed that. But whatever.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. Hashtag. My apologies.
Oh, no worries.
Hey, if you're your own hashtag, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is great, Rob. Thank you so much for including us, and I can see why you included everybody. Melanie, Viola, this is great. I appreciate your insights as well, and look forward to doing more stuff like this. So happy to participate whenever you need us to.
A nice meeting,
Perfect.
Melanie and Dave.
Yeah, it's nice to meet both of you, too.
And I also would like, before we head out, I would also like to mention that Dave actually takes care of our Google Search Engine Solutions program that helps you get on Google at an affordable rate. Again, connect with me if you're looking for more information. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.